Welcome to the Talk with Clads podcast. Your host is Katie Ann, an island girl on a journey with her guests to learn about their backgrounds, businesses, passions, experiences, life lessons, and wins. Come and laugh, cheer, learn, and plan with us. My friend, take some time to come and talk with Clads.
Hello, world. Welcome to Talk with Clads. My name is Katie Ann, and I'll be your host for today. We have a special guest in the house tonight. We have Mr. Denzel White. Denzel is the CEO and owner of the company Scent of Attraction Fragrances. Denzel, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So Denzel, tell us a little bit about your background and how did you form this business?
Alrighty. So basically, over the years, I've always wanted to do business. It has always been the most important thing to me ever since I was in high school. And then I decided that, okay, then let me get some basic knowledge in the business world. First by being an employee, then afterwards I decided, okay, let me start my own thing because of course your own thing is always the best thing. And I went straight into forming the business Scent of Attraction. Scent of Attraction is a fragrance business that, we cover all the major brands. We try to ensure that our customers are always comfortable and we put our customers first.
All right. So how did you come up with the name Scent of Attraction?
Because one day I was just sitting there and I was like, what do I want my fragrance business to be called? And, somehow it just popped in my mind and I was like, it's all about scent. Okay. The smell of fragrance. And I want it to be very, very attractive so customers can feel comfortable. And I want the name to be, catchy and it has to have something to do with what I'm selling. So it just popped in my mind. Oh, Scent of Attraction. I said, okay. This is going to work. So I just jumped at it and started to work with that name.
All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so you have a marketing and a sales background?
That's correct.
Okay. And so previously you worked for you said you had your regular 9 to 5. So what made you make that jump? You said you wanted to do your own business, but what gave you that extra push? The
extra push actually came from, okay, you are working for somebody. It's always good to work for somebody. There's nothing wrong with it. But I've always wanted to provide jobs. So instead of, I have the mindset of, an entrepreneur. So I've always said, instead of taking up space, being in a position where I'm an employee, then Jamaica has the situation where there's not a lot of jobs in Jamaica. So if I can be the kind of person that can lead by example, create a business and then have employees, then I always wanted to do that. Have persons working and providing a salary for them so that they can be happy and feed their families.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how did you raise funding to start your business?
All right. Actually, I took it out of my salary. So I'm the kind of person that believes that, there's a 80-20 rule. My rule is actually a 50-50 or sometimes a 60-40 in savings. So what I do, I save 60% of my salary or more and I consume 40%. So this has actually given me a chance to say, instead of, having a lot to consume, I put money aside. I invest in other things until the money grows. And once it grows, I just invest it in things that will turn around. And that's how I got the money to start in the first place.
Oh, very good. That's actually really good advice. So you call it the 60...
I call mine the 60-40 rule.
The 60, but that requires a lot of discipline.
A lot of discipline. So you have to see money and look at it and say, I'm not going out tonight.
Wow. Yeah. That's discipline because you're young and very, very disciplined.
Yep.
So how do you build a successful customer base?
All right. So a successful customer base it's a little bit complicated, but at the same time, everybody that is buying something wants to be comfortable. And once you make your customers comfortable, our main role in the business also, or what we do and pride ourselves on, is repeat business. Because at least 90% of our customers always come back and purchase from us.
Oh, that's really good.
And that is what we're, looking to do all the time. Because, of course, they say it's 5 times harder to get a new customer than to keep an old one. So we always want to keep our, our repeat business, repeat customers. So that's what we push for every single day. And over the years, we've just pushed to get some good customers, and it works for us.
Okay, so you mentioned repeat business. So how do you engage your customers so they remain loyal?
All right, what we do, there's a number of things that we do. The first thing is that we have this thing that we call a repeat customer discount. So once you are a repeater, you're entitled to a discount, right? The other thing that we like to do as well is we keep a customer database as well. So a lot of customers will call us and they'll be like, okay, Montego Bay is a big place or Jamaica is a big place. So they'll call us and, oh, I'm calling you. I bought a perfume from you last time. And we were like, oh, yeah. How you doing, Mr. Jones? I remember you.
Oh,
and
good.
They're always fascinated by this. And they're like, oh, you remember me? That is so nice. And you remember what I bought? And I say, yeah, you got the Tom Ford the last time. You want to get another Tom Ford? And they're like, oh, yes, send me one. So, it always works that way.
Very good. Very good. Every person likes to be recognized in some shape or form. So
That
that's
is
really good.
Yes.
So how do you market your business and which tactics have you used to make it very successful so far?
All right. So mainly, a lot of our marketing is done online. So it has to do with Instagram based marketing. We do Facebook based. So it's mainly social media based. Also, we have advertisements that we run in Jamaica as well. So we do newspaper advertisements. And we also use a lot of word of mouth as well, and flyers and business cards. So, of course, flyers and business cards works. And then, of course, everywhere that your customers go to, like if we have customers that goes to parties, we just go there and engage them. And it works. Mm-hmm.
All right. So many people believe that becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business is so hard.
Right.
So to the point that it can become so overwhelming. So why do you think people believe that?
Because it is. Yeah, it is. It is rewarding, but it is very difficult. You have to give it a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. There are things that are not going to work out. So if you don't have the mindset, it might come off as, something that you want to walk away from. But if you have that mindset to say, okay, then I have this dream, I want to achieve my dream, then you're going to push as hard as you possibly can. Because, of course, there's always going to be some things that are going to push you aside. There are going to be obstacles in the business. There's going to be the fact that things are just going to come up that you didn't plan for. But the good thing is that you're supposed to have something planned for everything. Have a contingency plan in place for everything, so that anything that pops up, you can always find a way to fix it. But business is rough. It is tough, but it is rewarding. And also, apart from being rewarding, it is also very fulfilling once you see what you have achieved.
All right. You mentioned the importance of planning.
Mm-hmm.
So for your organization, what does your short-term and long-term plans or goals look like?
Actually, I would put my short-term plan in basically taking over Jamaica and being the number one. Yeah, that's true. I want to be the number one
why not, right?
provider in Jamaica, and that's not even my long-term plan. I want to go worldwide with this business, sell on all the major platforms, and just keep going until we're recognized everywhere in the world. Because, of course, the sky is the limit. We believe that we can achieve it because where we're coming from, we're very far from where we used to be, and we know that we can do anything.
Okay. So you said where you're coming from and where you've been is not where you are right now. So what are some valuable lessons that you've learned along the way?
Some valuable lessons that I've learned. There's so many lessons to learn. One, I would say, all right, let me start from the basics. The first one I would look at is your customers are going to try you sometimes, right? But at the same time, you have to remember that they're customers and they just want value for their money. So irrespective of how they make you feel, your responsibility is to ensure that you provide what your customer is looking for and at the best possible price. Also, I would say that sometimes your circle is going to try you as well. Because
your inner circle?
Yeah, your inner circle is going to try you as well. Because at beginning, I used to think that, one of the one of my biggest set of customers are going to be my friends. and
that is so not the case, which I've learned.
That is not the case at all, because once you start the business and you start doing things, your friends are going to be some of the last person to buy from you.
So then do you regard those as friends, or?
I would look at them as friends, but you have to put them in categories.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd start to categorize my friends. I was like, okay, then these are good friends. These are okay friends. And these are friends that I can do without, but I'll probably just work with them, because everybody has their own kind of personality, right?
Right.
And everybody has their own way of, what they believe in. And other persons will see you as competition as well. And that is the problem, because I have friends from university, I have friends from my community that actually looks at you as competition, and they'll go and buy from the competitor at a higher price than what you're selling.
Than to support you.
But I don't know
if I'd call that a friend, though. You know what I mean? I think for us,
yeah,
sometimes we overuse the word friends.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember a long time ago, someone said to me, as you grow older, if you have 3 very good friends, you have a lot.
That's true.
So I don't know if I would call someone who would buy from a competitor for the same product higher, that's my friend. You know what I mean? I probably would be looking at you a little bit sideways. But that's actually a valuable lesson that I learned with like launching Footsteps to My Vision, where I thought that people who were close to me, and then there are people who were close to me that really supported me along the way. My mom and my sister and cousins and, but people who I thought were friends that were going to be there, they gave you all types of excuses. Oh, yeah. So that was an eye-opening experience for myself. So that was a life lesson that I think I learned the hard way. It's like, because I'm team support all the time. Like, if you have a new product, I want to try it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know what? You need to save your money. You don't have to support everybody. So that's a lesson that I learned. But going back, as you said, you learned that your inner circle will try you along with your customers.
Yeah.
So doing business, I know it can be a little bit dangerous sometimes, because you handle cash sales at times.
Yeah.
So do you have any lessons from that, where how you've revamped where you do business a little bit differently now, because you do both cash and different forms of?
I would say the most important thing is getting rid of the cash as quickly as possible.
Especially in Jamaica.
Yeah, if you're in Jamaica, it is critical. And, some of these banks in Jamaica has finally come around, and, the technology is actually coming across to them now. So they have what you call, direct deposit and stuff like that. You deposit cash directly into the ATM, and that has worked tremendously for not only myself, but everybody else. But, once you get that cash money, you deposit it, because you really don't want to get that extra attention. You don't want people to really think that you have cash at home, because that is going to bring the wrong persons to your home, and you don't really want that at all.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That can be very, very dangerous. And that's a risk. So for you, obviously, the business comes with a risk.
Plaid's Resources and Consulting values its customers. Our planner Footsteps to My Vision is a 13-month planner that can be used for 5 years. It walks you through SMART goals, SWOT analysis, action planning, and holds you accountable through 3 monthly check-ins. We work only with top-quality materials, innovative designs, and verified suppliers, which are guaranteed to deliver to our high expectations, because when it comes to our customer satisfaction, there's no room for compromise. Made with high-quality PU leather, and Paper Planner helps you focus on achieving your goals by giving you a sense of personal and professional satisfaction. Some of the amazing features of this product: Vision Board Planner, luxury pen, 8GB USB flash drive, wireless mouse, ultra-elegant packaging box, available in 5 stunning colors: black, red, gold, pink, navy blue. Material: PU leather. 13-month planner. Elastic band for easy handling. Our Footsteps to My Vision is available at Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, our website, and at Walmart. You may also follow us at www.cladsresources.com, Instagram, Clads Resources, Facebook, www.facebook.com/cladsresources.
You're listening to Talk with Clads. Find more resources online at cladsresources.com. Now back to the show with your host, Katie Ann.
So a misconception that many people may have is that being an entrepreneur that you work very few hours. How many hours a day do you work as an entrepreneur?
That is definitely a misconception because I can tell you that my day normally starts at 8 in the morning and my day actually finishes sometimes 2 o'clock in the night or 3 a.m. So it's really and truly a misconception because persons always say, oh, you can be at home when you're ready. You can just, no, it's not like that because yes, there's a front line or the front part of the business that everybody sees, but there's a lot of back end work that has to be done. You have to do all the necessary calculations. You have to set your prices. Everything has to be correct. If that is not done, then what you're going to have is a business that is selling and you're actually just giving away stuff. So you need to know what your profit is. You have to have your projections in place. You have to know exactly what you want to achieve. And if you don't have that on paper or you don't, spend that extra time to do that, then you're just in a circle spinning around and you're not achieving anything.
Oh, that's very good advice.
Mm-hmm.
How has being an entrepreneur affected your family life?
It has affected my life significantly because a lot of the time that I used to spend, especially with my mom and my daughter, she used to love going to the beach. And I was actually the fun person in the family. So I would be going to all the different recreational areas and stuff like that. And I realize now that, a lot of that has cut out or I had to basically stop most of that. And it has affected everybody. Personal life as well. A lot of my time has been invested in business. So I actually don't get that time to probably spend how I want to spend it. But I try my best on a daily basis to even do a little stuff. Family life, personal time as well. It affects my personal time because I used to like watch 1 or 2 movies. Everybody loves social media. I don't have a social media life. I don't have a movie life. I just have a business life.
Social media, but social media for business.
Social media only for business because by the time it takes for you to answer all the customers that you have on your different pages, then you won't have another page to look at. That's how it works.
So what motivates you?
I think it's inner motivation. Basically, the drive to achieve is what, what pushes me all the time. I've always wanted to have something that I can leave behind. So it's not only about, what Denzel wants to see, things going good for himself and I want to, no. I've always, thought about, my daughter leaving university or going to university. I don't want her to go there or leaving university and have to find, her own money to buy her own car or buy a house. I want to do all of that for her. I want to leave something for the next generation as well. So for her and her daughter to come or her children to come, future planning, forward planning, I always wanted to have something left behind so that they can be comfortable and just add to it from there.
Okay. So we talk about motivation. What about fears? What is your greatest fear and how do you manage that fear?
My greatest fear is actually failing and not be able to, rebound. So it's not only about failing because failing actually happens. And if you're a business person, things are going to happen. You're going to fail sometimes. You're going to buy something that you think that you can sell and it's just not selling. So that's kind of a failure. You're going to do some stuff in business that are just not going to work out. But, the thing is that once you use your mind and you find something else that works better than what failed before, then that's a thing. That's called rebound. And once you believe in rebounding, then you'll always be successful. Always.
So you spoke about failing a while ago. So what has been your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
I would say that my biggest failure, all right. My biggest failure, I would say, would be investing in something before that was actually not one of the best moves that I could have made. Right, I actually put a good amount of money in something that I thought would have turned over some good profits, which I could actually invest in other things, but it was all through the door. I still have some of the stuff that I actually purchased, even though I can walk by them and look at them and like, oh, that's you over there. Yeah, so I can still look at them and I can see that, you know what, there are going to be things that you're going to do that are going to not be the best decision. But as I said before, rebounding is the best case. You just always try to find something else that works better than the mistake that you made before, and you move right along. And don't even carry the baggage with you. Failure happens, rebounding is the best thing.
Yeah. So as you know, sometimes we do compare ourselves and our journeys. We may look online and we see a business booming and you're like, why can't I just do that? So do you find yourself comparing yourself to others?
I think comparison is probably one of the worst things you can ever do. A lot of persons do it, but you see, everybody's journey is different and everybody's business, you know, the way you go about business is different. A lot of persons might get say for example, somebody was lucky enough to get $1 million loan, but you could have only got $10,000. Are you going to compare yourself to that person? Everybody's journey and the finish line for everybody is not the same. Yes, the outcome might be the same at the end of the day, but the journey is always different. So it's always good never ever to compare yourself with other person. You can use them as a benchmark. There's nothing wrong with that. You can look at them and say, okay, then, all right, they have 10,000 followers on Instagram. I want to have 10,000 followers on Instagram. I might not do it the way that they did it, but I can find my own way to get 10,000 followers on Instagram. Oh, looks like they're making at least $50,000 per month. I need to make $50,000 per month. I might not get it in 2 months that they got it, but I can get it in 5 months. And you just keep your own goals. And you know, you just push for it and you will achieve it.
Yeah. You know, I was looking on social media actually, and this is going to be a very unusual reference, but I was looking on something that, because I follow Spice, and I looked at something that she said once. Right. And she's similar to what you said. She said everybody's journey is different. Right. And she said, we're going to the same destination. Right. I may drive in a Benz and you drive in a Honda. Yep. At the end of the day, we get to the same place. Our journeys may be different. What we drove in is different. Yep. But we still got there.
We still got to the destination.
It's unusual, but it stuck because it makes sense, right?
Yes, it does.
So sometimes, you know, comparison, yes, you said, as you said, you can use them for benchmarks. Yep. But, you know, I wouldn't hold myself accountable based on someone else's standards. Yeah. So speaking of accountability, right? How do you hold yourself accountable as an entrepreneur?
Well, basically, you know, what you do is you have to test yourself on a daily basis. You know, people always say, oh, look into yourself to see what's happening. That's what I do. I always, you know, check myself, double check myself. Are you doing this right? Is there something else that you could have done? You know, what else can be done, Denzel? Think about it. How can you push it? How can you move forward? What can you change, right, to achieve more? And, you know, I ask myself these questions every single day. It's like in business, people always say they want to be comfortable. I don't think that there's a comfort zone in business. Anytime you decide to get too comfortable, that's when you put yourself in problems. So whenever you start getting comfortable, you need to start shake up yourself and say, okay, then I'm making $100,000. This is comfortable. No, I don't want to be comfortable. I want to make 200,000. I want to make $1 million. And you start pushing. Get out of your comfort zone. Check yourself on a regular basis. See what you're not doing or what you need to do. And then you move from there and start pushing out.
All right. So I hear you reference metrics sometimes. Okay. So how, as an entrepreneur, what is the importance of the numbers and knowing the numbers and knowing how to forecast? What role does that play in a business?
Forecasting is, I would say, is everything in a business. If you check out all the major businesses, or if you buy stocks or follow any major company, they will tell you that, okay, this year we're looking at making $100 million because we made $90 million last year, and we can see ourselves making $100 million. You have never seen a company say that they made $100 million and want to make $50 million this year. It doesn't work that way. You always want to go higher every time. That's how it works. Right. So, once this year passed, okay, then you're going to make your forecast for next year. You're going to put a little bit more on it, and you're going to say, okay, then 100, I'm doing 150 next year. And once you go after that 150, if you don't get 150, you might get 145. Sometimes you make 170. So, it's just how you, set it up and go for it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's important to know the return on the investment, right?
Always. ROI is always one of the major techniques that you have to use.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Very good. Mm-hmm. So, as knowing your investments and benchmarking, what's one thing that you can do now as a business owner that you weren't able to do a year ago?
As a business owner, I would say, what I would say now? I would say one thing that I couldn't do a year ago was probably some of the figures. Even some of the figures, after, extensive practice, repeatedly doing things over and over, you realize that business actually is a part of your personal life as well. So, everything does fall into place. And working with some of the figures or some of the things that you're used to in the past, you realize that back in the day, maybe you can't do it like a year or 2 years ago, but now you can actually manage it better than you used to.
All right. So going to that, because you've had formal education before stepping out, do you think a formal education matters in pursuing a business venture?
It does. It definitely does. Because the formal education is actually the basis that you work from. And this basis, they always say, what, street smart is good. Street smart is definitely good.
Street smart will keep you safe too.
Street smart will keep you safe. Street smart will give you the necessary knowledge that you need. But I think formal education as well, because there's a lot of things that come with formal education. Like, for example, public speaking or interacting with people. Street smart, some of the time you don't get to have that kind of, you don't get to learn that. But when you do, for example, a degree or even if a bachelor's degree you're looking at, you can get that kind of, doing different kind of courses. You'll get a background or some form of knowledge in, accounting. You'll also get some knowledge in marketing. You'll also get some knowledge in public speaking, meeting persons, how to interact, how to pretty much work with just about anybody. And, that's what the education system will teach you. Of course, you will need your own knowledge though after you finish with school, because a lot of schools don't teach you how to make money for yourself. They teach you how to make money for someone else. And that's the thing.
Yeah. And also experience does play a crucial role, because I while I believe in formal education, I also believe that nothing teaches someone better than experience.
That's true.
There's some things that you can skip with the formal education, but with the experience, sometimes that kind of it's a better teacher. Also, there's certification courses that you can probably do too, versus if you can't afford a formal education, because schooling sometimes become very, very pricey. Actually, I think of schooling now, education being in the system for such a long time. I truly believe that is a huge business itself.
Yeah, it is. This is a system. And I always tell my friends that at the end of the day, education is important. But I put knowledge way ahead of education, because you see, the thing is that if, for example, I always tell them, this is what I say to them. If you are educated and you're in the system, right, you will go out and you find a job. You work a certain amount of money per month and so on and so forth. The system doesn't teach you that, okay, then if you know about stocks, or you get that knowledge about stocks, or you know about, what's happening in the Forex market, or you have knowledge of the Forex market, when you can go in, put in some money, and you know what stock is going to come out, which one is going to make you, some good money. Then once you have that knowledge, you can go and say, let me buy some of it. You buy some of it, it grows, you have a lot of money in your pocket. The system doesn't teach you that. But once you desire that knowledge, you'll go out and search for the extra knowledge. on your own. And once you get that extra knowledge on your own, you're going to love it and you're going to push hard for it and it's going to work for you.
Yeah. So being a lifelong learner, I would say is
That's
very
correct.
important.
Extremely important. Yeah.
So let's talk about influence, right? We have people who are influential to us in so many different ways. It could be a stranger, that has touched us in a different way. It could be a family member or friend, teacher, or role model. So who has been the 3 most influential people in your life?
All right. So the first person I will talk about is Robert Kiyosaki. So Robert Kiyosaki I pretty much follow him on everything. I've read his books, because a lot of the things that he speaks about, if you practice them, you'll definitely go far. Even when you talk about the quadrant, he always speaks about, the quadrant where, you're an employee, you're an investor, or you're a business owner. And of course, once you move from being an employee to being a business owner, then you're going to see the difference in your life. Once you move from a business owner to being an investor, everybody wants to be at home or you want to be on the beach one day, right? And you're relaxing and you're making money. Do you know how good it is to be sleeping and making money?
Oh,
it's one of the best experiences you can ever have. You're just at home. You don't have to put your hands into anything to make money. You're just there. The figures are just growing and you're just relaxing. Okay. And it's one of the things that, Robert Kiyosaki talks about on a daily basis. And I actually follow him completely.
Okay.
I respect him.
How did you learn about, because this is the first I'm hearing about.
Oh, you don't know about Robert Kiyosaki?
No, so you have to tell us a little bit more.
No, man. You have to, no. You need to go.
Right?
You need to go on Instagram even right now and follow.
So he's
Robert
alive?
Kiyosaki. Of course he's alive.
Oh, okay.
You never heard about Rich Dad Poor Dad before?
Okay. He's the one that writes Rich Dad Poor Dad.
You never read that book?
No, I have not, but my husband has.
Yeah,
so
you need
listen,
to read the book.
I've heard Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I did not know who wrote the book. You know what I mean? You hear the references all the time. Actually, I was speaking to my brother this today and he referenced Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good book to read. You need to follow him because he does his daily interviews on Instagram, and he's gonna tell you what's happening. He talks about Bitcoin. He talks about pretty much everything that you can invest in that can make some money for you.
Yeah, I'll definitely for sure check him out because I know my husband is a big Rich Dad Poor Dad and Napoleon. I don't know whatever his last name is, Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Thing. All right, so that's one. Give me 2 more.
I would think that somebody that I've always looked at is maybe Alexander the Great as well. And one of my favorite quotes is that what he always says that, bravery, or the person that goes for it the most will actually achieve it. Because you know what? Alexander conquered a lot of things he did. If you ever maybe read about him or, you can watch the movie as well because he has a movie out there. You realize that some of what he tried to do, persons will tell him that you can't do it.
Yeah.
Right? But what he did was, there's nothing that I can't do.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know Alexander either.
Oh, you don't know Alexander?
I know, I think that Alexander dead long before my born still.
He's dead a long time ago.
We can't follow him on Instagram.
He's dead a long time ago, but one of my favorite saying is, fortune favors the bold.
Fortune favors the bold.
Fortune favors the bold. And, the person that sits back and relax and use social media or watch TV on a daily basis is a person that's going to stay sitting back watching social, and being the same thing. Because they always say that if you do the same thing the same way every time, you can expect the same result.
Right.
But if you try to do other things, then you can expect a different result. And the person that goes for it the most is the person that will achieve it the most.
So fortune favors the bold.
Fortune favors the bold. So just make a step. Go for it and you'll get it. That's how it works.
That's a really good one. That's a really, really good one. So would that be an advice that you'd give to someone that's trying to be an entrepreneur?
Yes, I will. I will tell them that, I have a lot of friends that still, 10 years ago, they're still waiting to start their business. And I always smile and say, yeah, man, wait until you're 80-year-old, you're going to start the business because that's how they are. They say, okay, some of them will say, okay, I need $1 million to start. I'm not going to wait until I get $1 million. If I have $500 in my pocket, I'm going to start with it. And then once you start, you can go anywhere.
Right.
But if you never start, you can never get anywhere.
But do you think mindset plays a part in that?
It does. It does. Because a lot of persons really and truly are not, and don't get it wrong, a lot of persons are not made to be business people.
Well, not everyone can be a leader.
Yeah.
You know, if everyone's a leader, who follows?
That's true.
You know, Jesus had 12 disciples.
Exactly.
Per the Bible.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Somebody had to follow.
Yeah.
All right. So you said fortune favors the bold.
Yes.
So we have Alexander the Great. So who's the third one for you?
This one is going to sound a bit different, but I've learned a lot from my dad.
Oh, okay.
Not in the right way, but in the opposite way.
Oh my
Right?
gosh. I was going to say big up. And then I said, no, my mother said after you said that.
No, it's like, let me put it this way. My father could have done a lot of things and could have achieved a lot more. But what he did, all right, my dad is the kind of person that will buy a television for $200 and sell it back for $100. So I've always looked at it and say, you know what, when I grow up, I want to do things the opposite of my dad. If I buy a television, I want to sell it back for $250 or $300, make a profit on it, and put my ego aside. Because a lot of persons are consumed by ego on a daily basis, especially men, and we don't even notice it. There are two things that destroy men. And don't get me wrong, there are perfectly fine, nice women that will help you grow. And there are also women that can actually, or the lust for women then. Because I say a man is not successful, or most men are not successful until they get to the age of 45 years old. You know why?
Why?
Because they're going after women.
They're playing
spend
out
most of their time hunting after women. So because of that, they spend little time doing business or searching for money. So you're always focused on women. But when your body slows down a little bit, that's when, no, it's true.
Them not no use.
Yeah, when your body slows down a little bit, that is when you start saying, okay, then I need to start doing this, doing that. A lot of times it's a bit too late.
Right.
Yeah, some of the times you're playing catch up as well.
Right.
So I would say, to most men, just think about it. Think deeply. You know what? Put some things on hold, or enjoy it, but enjoy it less, and try to see how best you can do some investment or do some business and achieve.
Balance. But going back to your dad, do you think it's a generational thing though?
No, I think it's a lack of knowledge. I would say lack of knowledge is probably one of the real things that affected him. I would say a lot of things that he did, maybe he wouldn't have been privy to the information that he would have wanted to have, because he didn't have a dad that would teach him some of the stuff,
right?
Or tell him how to go about this or that, or and some of the times I think also not generational issues, but an ego issue as well, because a lot of men like to have that thing about them. Oh, I'm the boss of the party. Once I walk in, I'm the boss, and that kind of actually...
It still happens today.
Yeah, it does. And it affects us significantly. A lot of persons will buy the most expensive vehicle. You can't afford it, but you buy it. You understand?
Just for how society or the environment views you.
Just to fulfill that ego and say, oh, I'm going to look for my family. I'm rolling in a BMW. When you could have bought a Toyota Corolla, invested the rest of the money for the BMW.
Well, nothing wrong with a BMW though.
All right, forget about the BMW then. All right, so you could have bought maybe a Ferrari, or instead of saying, all right, let me not put the money in the Mercedes Benz or whatever the case is, because I'm not at that level as yet. Because if you're at the level to buy a BMW, buy it. If that's what makes you happy, buy it. But if you are at a undercard level, you buy the undercard, they take the excess money, you put it in something that will provide a return for you. Right? And the awesome thing about business as well is to know what are assets and what are liabilities. Because a lot of persons will think that, for example, a car is an asset.
No, it's a it depreciates as the day you buy it.
It's a depreciating asset that doesn't put any money in your pocket. What it takes is servicing fees. It takes insurance on a regular basis, your license for the road, all that kind of stuff. So it actually takes from you instead of giving to you. While if you invest maybe in real estate, you see your money grow. Yeah, so it's about knowing what to put money in.
Okay, all right. So going back to the mentorship though, because I feel like you're just dropping knowledge all over, and it's great because you're a smart young gentleman that just has his head on his body.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. 'Cause you still have a little bit of your dad still. You know what?
Yeah.
Right? So I love the knowledge that you're sharing. But going back to how important role model, having good influences, I would say.
Yeah.
So what message do you want to send to your daughter as an entrepreneur?
I always encourage her to get in some form of business. I've always, taught her about, investments, because a lot of persons will actually hold that from their children. I think it's one of the most important things you can ever do. It's to teach your children about money.
You understand and how to use it as a tool.
How to use it as a tool, how to save it, how to, invest it so it can actually bring back something for you.
Right.
It is so critical, because I can tell you that a lot of our parents did not teach us about money.
That is true. A lot of our parents, and I think it's more generational, or it could also be cultural, where they're like, okay, it's my child's responsibility to take care of me. So there's no savings set aside for when they get older, or any burial. And I think culture does play a lot.
It does. It definitely
a lot
does.
of that. So, trying to change that, what they call the generational curse, and sending a different message to your children. And, hey, learn your environment and know how to use it to your advantage, right?
That is true.
A lot of people know how to use credit, and you're telling me Jamaica now has the credit system in place.
Yes, man. Jamaica has their, proper credit card system. We have the MasterCard. We have the Visa card. We have
Jamaica turn up.
Of course, Jamaica is like we're moving into that segment now where pretty much everything is flowing freely and quickly. And that is what any country needs to actually move to the next level.
Yeah. So, as an entrepreneur, do you think it is important to have ideals?
Yes, it is very, very important to have ideals. Because actually ideals is what actually, guides you, and it should be your driving force at all times.
Yeah. So what are some of your ideals as an entrepreneur?
I consider to be, all right. 1, stay on the right path. A lot of the times you will have obstacles and issues and all that kind of stuff. But if you have that kind of focus and you stay on the right path, that's one of the first things that you should actually look at in that segment there.
Okay. So what does the next chapter look like for Center of Attraction?
The next chapter is a bit... All right, let's put it this way. For Center of Attraction, I want to make sure that I'm very, very innovative, or I say I'd stay changing at all times. Let's put it that way. Always moving with the crowd, always knowing what is happening and how to actually be. Because, all right, so people actually say, all right, then right now, things are changing so quickly. Technology is moving so fast right now that if you ever try to stay at one point right now, you're going to lose out. Like, for example, I can remember when they say, at Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, okay, we want to, do this. And they were like, are you crazy? That will never happen. And okay, where's Blockbuster now? We can't find it, right? And then there's Netflix right now, which is one of the biggest companies in the world. So, it's always important to have, I always want to have the newest fragrances. I always want to have, the hit thing. Whatever is going on, I want to be a part of it. If something is changing, I want to change with it so I can always keep going. My customers are always engaged. They're always looking at something and say, okay, then I want to be a part of whatever this company is doing, because they are keeping us engaged. And that is why even social media, I tell you, I don't have a personal social media page, but I'm on social media every single day. This is probably the longest I've not been on social media, because I go on my page every minute. I answer my customers. I send them information. I go at it every single day, right throughout the day. I get a little bit of sleep in the night. I wake up in the morning and I go at it again, because guess what? Keeping them focused, going after the next big thing, is always what you want to do. And of course, you want your business to grow. And that is the whole idea of everything. Okay, then you're in Jamaica now, or you're just a small business in Jamaica. Okay, I want to be a large business that is multinational. Of course, we all want to go multinational. Of course, we all want to say, okay, at the end of the day, oh, I'm employing 2-3 Jamaicans. No, what if I can do 100 Jamaicans, right? What if I can do 100 or 500 persons around the world? Because of course, you want to create a kind of employment so that persons can benefit, persons can feed their family. You can be that person, because not everybody's going to have the mindset to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's going to have the mindset to, create for people. But if you can do it, then of course you can always, move in that direction.
Wow. So you've definitely described being a transformational leader, where you're constantly working with that vision of changing and improving and, just creating a vision of the future.
Yep.
So where can our listeners connect with you online?
All right. So basically right now, our main thing is Instagram. So we're on Instagram, Center of Attraction Frigg, FRAG, right? We're also on Facebook as well. Center of Attraction Frigg as well. You can go on it. On Instagram, you're going to find all the photos that we've posted. You're going to see, different information on prices, on the quality of the products, on, longevity as well. All that information is covered on the page. So you can just jump on, you're going to see, who makes fragrances, what is included in them and all that kind of stuff, which will give you an idea, of what you need to purchase. And of course, we are very, 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 very communicable, because what we always do is to ensure that we follow up once a customer sends a message in. We're going to go in there and, post a response as quickly as possible so that they can have the necessary information. You can also find us on, what's the name again?
So you mentioned Instagram.
Yeah. So
Facebook too?
Instagram, Facebook. We're also on TikTok as well. And of course, you can communicate with us on WhatsApp as well. And
what's the WhatsApp telephone number?
Our WhatsApp number is 876-412-7551.
Again?
All right. So that's 876-412-7551.
Okay.
Right.
And can you repeat the Instagram and the Facebook and the TikTok handle, please?
All right. So Instagram. So we're pretty much trying to keep it consistent. So it's going to be Center of Attraction Frigg. So Cent, SCENTOF, Attraction, FRAG, right? So that's Center of Attraction Frigg. That's the same thing that's on Instagram, same thing that's on Facebook, and the same thing that's on TikTok. So once you go there, you're going to find us on any of the pages, and you can, of course, look at what we have available and engage us.
All right. So it's come to the point in the show where I like to ask my guests, what is one question that you would have liked for me to ask that I have not asked you today?
All right, one question. That one question. Let me think a second. I would say it has been extremely fun. I love, all of this. You've touched on some extremely important, points, asked some really relevant questions, some really important questions. Because of that, it's a little bit difficult, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say my question would be, all right, so the question that I would have I've wanted you to ask me is what I would actually change about, doing business in the past. And I would say what I would want to change is I would actually want to start earlier. And, which is very critical. You have it in your mind. You've always wanted to do it. A lot of the times I would think that is lack of resources that actually held me back a little bit. But the mindset actually pushed me, a lot to actually invest what I had and see outcome. But I would say to pretty much any young person now, or anybody that wants to do business, it's never too late still. But at the same time, whichever part of your life you're in right now, whatever age you are, just start. It's critical to just start. Just whatever you want to do, as long as you see that is something that you're interested in doing. Don't do it because you want to get rich. It's a part of the goal, of course, because we all need to get rich or we want to get rich. But it should be something that you want to do, something that you love to do. right? And once you have that passion, that drive, because the thing is that once you have that drive, when the first obstacle comes, it's not going to just sink you. It's going to refuel you. And that's the thing. Failure can be refueling, because once you have that kind of failure, you're going to say, okay, then how can I get past this failure and move to another segment? And that's a critical thing, because up to yesterday, I was telling my uncle that I'm the kind of person that thinks of a solution before, as soon as a problem comes about. Because other persons will sit and they'll wallow in the problem and they'll say, oh God, how am I going to get through it? I think of the solution immediately. What can I do to get out of this? And, that's my mindset all the time. So once you have that kind of mindset, you're going to keep going, because once something fails, you're going to just create and create and create and create other escape plans. And then you're going to realize that, guess what? I'm on a road or on a path to greatness, and you're just going to achieve what you're supposed to achieve, which is what we all want. So I'm encouraging everybody, do it.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
I guess my favorite word is determined Denzel.
Which is a part of Footsteps to My Vision. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm very determined. I always, there are things that might not work for me, but I just find another way to do it.
Determined. So what other 2 words?
All right, the other 2 words I would say that describes me is persuasive. I tend to be pretty persuasive at times.
Well, you definitely are in sales.
Yeah, I'm in sales, so I will actually, some persons will come sometimes and they come to buy and they'll say, boy, here's something else, because I've never come to buy that at all, And I'm like, that is my job. I always try to find a way not only to just sell you something, but to sell you something that you love, because it's not about making that money once and then the person will be like, oh, I'm not coming back there again. No, I'm not that kind of person. I want to ensure that whatever you buy has some form of value. There's some benefit to it, you can achieve from it. And then, of course, once you like it, you're going to come back and you're going to buy more. And, even if you didn't come to buy that one in particular, once I convince you to buy it and I persuade you, you're eventually going to come back and get another one right afterwards.
So determined, persuasive.
Determined, persuasive. Another word that drives me or that can describe me is happy. I love that word because I always tell people that I would go to any extent whatsoever to make sure that I stay happy. If there's something or somebody that destroys my energy on a daily basis, I try my best to, get that person out of the way. Because you see, life is not hard. And I always say that to people, life is not hard. Life is pretty easy. It's just the persons that you have that are, surrounding you. If you have the wrong set of persons, working with, then you're always going to have an issue where persons are going to be consistently draining your energy. They say the closest persons to you are the persons that take the most from you. And it is so critical to remember the closest persons to you, they'll always, if they don't have the right mindset, they're the ones that are going to be draining your energy. They're going to drain you financially in every single way. So you always need to have persons that are going to have your back, as we say in Jamaica, somebody that will have your back and your side. So, at every point you have that person that you can, rally on and get that kind of, encouragement and love and just stay happy. If something is happening that you're not happy with, just remember that there are 5 basic needs. And once you fulfill the 5 basic needs, everything else is additional.
Everything else is bonus.
Everything else is bonus.
Everything else is bonus. Yeah. Well, Denzel, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed our conversation.
Oh, that's good.
So, and thank you so much for taking some time to talk with Clads. Bye, everyone.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us. As you said, fortune favors the bold. And that is such a word. So thank you so much, and bye, everyone.
It was certainly a pleasure, and I am very, very happy to be here. All right. Thank you so much, and bye, everybody.
And thank you so much for taking some time to talk with Clads. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Clad's Resources and online at www.cladsresources.com. Our planner, Footsteps to My Vision, is also located on our website or on Facebook, Instagram, or Amazon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, keep creating your footpath to your vision.